Bruce Williams here, Senior Regional Scout of Prep Hoops and the Editor-in-Chief of the Regional Round Ball Recruiting Report, here to bring you my tip of the day. Today's tip, rosters. This is more like a rant than it is a tip. This actually came to my attention when someone responded to me on Twitter saying that I might have identified the wrong player in a tweet I sent out, which immediately sent me scrambling back to my notes to make sure, because if you know anything about me, the one thing that I hate being in this business is factually incorrect. However, after comparing the picture of the player that was identified in the tweet and then looking at the roster, it looked to be correct. The player was wearing the exact same number that he was wearing in the roster that I had, which leads me to believe that there's a mistake that was made, but the mistake was not mine. While that's a small little story, this is indicative of some of the things that happen these days. And I don't remember when this started, but it could be a fact that there's so many AAU teams now and there's so many changeover with the kids that coaches simply do not have time to get formal rosters made up. However, a roster is still the easiest way for somebody like myself or a college coach to identify as many players as possible, giving you the best chance to get a look for a college scholarship. So what can you do? Parents, one of the things that you might want to start doing when you go to an event, especially if you're paying $300-$400 for these events or more, depending on where you have to travel, ask the coach if the event requires rosters, and if they do, ask him if he submitted them. Look, you got to understand, scouts like myself will keep rosters for years, looking for players and looking for information and data that may help us connect a player with a college playing opportunity. So those rosters are very valuable. And before you start laughing at the mound of papers and saying, oh, it's a digital age and things like that, you got to understand the logistics of the game. When I'm in the gym and I've got eyes, on a bunch of different courts and I'm looking at a bunch of different players, it's much easier for me to scribble down a note on a piece of paper versus opening up my phone, unlocking my phone, going to the correct app, writing down the note, and then looking at it later. I can always transpose any of my notes onto a file later on, but in the gym instantly, I want to write down what I saw so I can jog my memory later. The reason I bring this up is this happens a lot on paper rosters. Coaches will look down and they'll make a little note. Ooh, number 15. Good athlete, shoots it well from there. So it's really, really important that you have rosters when you're at the event. One of the things that could happen, just if a coach keeps looking back and he's making the notes, well, he might notice some other guys that he likes on there. Or because he's got so many notes on one team, he might stop and look at that team again. And he doesn't have to stop. If there's no rosters, he has to stop and he has to get the information of each and every player on that team. Well, he's not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It takes too long and it's not possible to go out there and get every single player's information at a tournament by hand. Rosters are important. Now, as I said, it was a rant, but it is a very, very important tip as well to help players get noticed and get on the recruiting radar. That's my tip for the day. For more tips like this, visit the 7 Outs Facebook page, or you can simply follow Bruce Prep Hoops on IG. And always, if you can't find me on one of those platforms, you can find me in the gym.